In statistics, it is important to be able to differentiate between a population and a sample. A population would consist of all objects of a given characteristic. For example, we might study the U.S. senators. And the variable that we might be studying would be their ages. So our population would be the U.S. senators, and the variable would be their ages. And it wouldn't be very difficult to acquire all of the data values associated with that variable. I'm sure that we could do a Google search that would very quickly return web pages that would list the ages of all of the U.S. senators. So that is population data that would not be difficult to get. However, if we were studying, say, U.S. citizens, and the variable that we were going to study was age, there is no way that we could gather data about the ages of all U.S. citizens that would provide us with that entire data set for a snapshot of one moment in time. That is a constantly changing data set. So what we would have to do is acquire a sample. A sample is a subset of a population. When we acquire a sample, it is very important that each element of the population has an equal probability of being included in the sample. Whenever this condition is met, we have what is called a simple random sample. And we can think of some reasons why it would be important that we had a sample like this that would provide a good cross-section of a data set. Like, for instance, let's suppose that we wanted to study the ages in a city, in a given city. We certainly wouldn't go to an elementary school and gather all of our data there. Obviously, the majority of the data would be values that are considerably less than what would constitute an actual cross-section of the population. Likewise, we wouldn't go to a long-term care facility that catered to the elderly. Our data values would all be larger than the bulk of the data values for the actual data set for the population. When we calculate measures for data sets, it is important that we use the correct symbols. That convey to the reader of the report whether the data that was collected came from a population or a sample. In statistics, we will have a set of symbols that will correspond to population measures, which are called parameters, and sample measures, which are called statistics. So it is important then, as you carry out your study of statistics, that you familiarize yourself with these correct symbols for each measure and that you use them appropriately.